Melca Suba State Forest is located 50 kilometers west of Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. It is known as the oldest state park in Africa. It was established in the 17th century by the Ethiopian Emperor Zere Yaqub as a so-called Forest of the Crown. Today's Suba is one of the best remaining examples of dry Afro-montane forest situated on the slopes of Mount Wechecha. It has a vibrant wildlife with colobus monkeys, the indigenous Menelik bushback, baboons, leopards, and the African wild hogs. There are 4 endemic and more than 180 species of birds. The area is also an important water supply for the Awash and Blue Nile River. Although the people have lived with the forest and have immense knowledge about it, the forest and its rich biodiversity are threatened by increasing population in the forest. Farms are expanding into the forest, causing erosion, which leads to degradation of the land. There is a high pressure of livestock into the forest from the neighboring farms. The livelihood of the local community and the youth is partly dependent on the forest as a source of income.
xiqqoo bunaafillee uffataafillee oo chacraaroo sanirraa guttoo waan matee funaannee gurgurree ittiin of qarqaarre jechaadhaa fi oduma nu mararuu itti seennee murra malee bosonni kun akka nu fayyadu beennaa
አካባቢ ገበሬ ላይም የሰው መብዛቱ አለ የሰው መብዛት ስንል ያው አካባቢው ራሱን ትንሽ ችግሮች አሉ የመሬት መጥበብ መሬቱ ደግሞ ተራራማ ስለሆነ የመታጠቡና ገበሬው ምርቱን እንደልቡ የማግኘት እንትን ስለሌለ ወደዚህ መጥተው ትንሽ ትርፍ ለማግኘት የሚል አዝማሚያ አለ ያ ነው ደኑን ትንሽ እየጎዳ ያለው
This provokes activities like cutting of trees for timber, old juniper, and other indigenous trees for fuel wood.
መንግስትም ሆነ እንደ መንግስት ድርጅቱም እንዲሁም ሌላም አካል ሆኖ ይሄ ተፈጥሮ ሀብት ጨርሶ እንዳይጠፋና ደብዛው እንዳይጠፋ ላርሶ አደሩ ትንሽ ዶጎማ የሚደረግበትና ከዚህ ደን ከመነካካት ነፃ የሚሆኑበት ሁኔታ ቢመቻች ጥሩ ነው የሚል ግምት አለኝ
The surrounding area has already been degraded and deforested. From formerly 9,000 hectares, only about 2,500 hectares of the original forest remain. In the forest's vicinity, there are also 3 growing small towns and the expanding city of Addis Ababa, putting additional pressure on its existence. Recognizing the danger that forest is facing, the local non-governmental organization, Melca Ethiopia, in collaboration with the government, has begun its environmental protection activity here since 2004. Melca Ethiopia operates in 3 biodiversity hotspot areas in the country: the Bale Mountains National Park, the Suba Sebeta Forest in Oromia region, and the Sheka Forest in southern Ethiopia. Melca Ethiopia is part of the African Biodiversity Network and aims to rehabilitate degraded ecosystems and revive biocultural diversity knowledge and practices for sustainable life. To pursue these goals, Melca focuses on an innovative environmental education component, especially for the youth, the community, and the decision makers.
We started our activity in Suba to protect this forest. But we have different activity.
ከተወሰኑ ቀበሌ ገበሬ ማህበራት በዚህ ደን ላይ ኑራቸውን አትሊስት በከፊልም ቢሆን የመሰረቱትንና የዕለት ኑሯቸው ድጋፍ የሚያስፈልጋቸውን ሴቶች በመምረጥ ስልጠና በመስጠት በገቢ ማስገኛ ስራ ላይ እንዲሳተፉ የማድረግ የተጀመረ ስራ አለ።
በፊት ይህንኑ ደን እየቆረጥን እንጨትም እየለቀም እሱኑ እየሸጥን ነው ልጆችን ያሳደግኩት። ግን አሁን ደግሞ መልካ ሰኚ ከመጣ ወዲህ ዶሮም ሰጥቶናል፣ በጎችም ሰጥቶናል። ከዛን ወዲህ ምንም አንልም፣ ኑሯችን እየተጨመረ እና መቼም እኔ ወደፊት ያው እናድጋለን ብዬ
We have as a purpose and as a process what we call endogenous development, which means development from within.
Participatory mapping is used to create awareness among the community of the degradation of the environment and to motivate to redress the wrong done. By passing on traditional knowledge from one generation to another, a local map of the past is created with information provided by the elders. Then a map of the present is produced, allowing the community to understand and visualize the changes that have taken place over the years in the environment. The community is then encouraged to draw lessons from the mapping and make plans and deliberations as to how to protect the environment, the traditional ecological knowledge, and the cultural legacy to actively construct a better future.
አሁን ሞልቶ ይው ድንጋይ ያጋዘ ውስጡ ይው ድንጋይ ኮረት ድንጋይ የነዳ ነው የሚሄደው። ሰፋ በቃ ከበፊቱ በጣም ሰፋ። እነዚህ ይውላችሁ እዛና እዚህ ልዩነቱ ነው።
The other activity that we do is rehabilitation of the ecosystem. In order to protect this forest, we have to also rehabilitate the landscape around the forest. So for that, with the local communities, we do soil and water conservation.
With the soil and water conservation activities, Melca mobilizes the local communities to actively participate and rehabilitate the environment. Melca provides the necessary tools as well as a technical assistance and the necessary know-how. School teachers and respectable members of the community are encouraged to lead on school children as an example for this productive, gratifying, and unifying communal work. The 3D model of the Suba mountain forest area is made immediately after the making of such model at Bali Mountains National Park, which was the first of its kind in Ethiopia. More than 150 youth, government officials, and elders have been involved in the making of it. The model is exposed in the community center and accessible to all members of the community. The model clearly depicts water points and rivers, land use types including agricultural and forest, and sacred sites and infrastructure. School visits from neighboring communities are frequent, and while the model is designed to give students virtually a different perspective on the environment and culture, it is an important tool for land and natural resource use management planning for government officials and community leaders to help them identify projects for watershed management. Melca has created a powerful environmental education program for the youth called SSNC. SSNC, which means seed, is an innovative approach where learning takes place in protected forest areas with elders leading the process and the local youth participating. The SSNC method has been adopted from similar programs in South Africa and Botswana and has then been developed to meet the need in Ethiopia. It starts from the notion that today's youth is disconnected from nature, culture, and their being by the forces of globalization, formal education, consumerism, and urbanization. Melca is working closely with schools to engage the local youth to take the initiative for environmental protection and improving their livelihood.
Consumerism is creating in people, including youth, this feeling of inadequacy. So they are very much disconnected with themselves. So they need a place or a space where they can connect with themselves also.
Students and community youth with controversial behaviors are selected for the SSNC program. The group is then taken into the forest to spend 5 days under the custodian of the local elders. The program is designed to connect children with nature, culture, and with themselves, and teaches them to respect the elders' knowledge.
Previously, knowledge of their culture was transmitted from generation to generation through stories, proverbs. But nowadays, even the elders consider the knowledge that they have not as important as the education that the children are getting from the school. So they look at themselves as backward.
መድኃኒትን የሚያውቅ ሰው አንዳንድ ሌላ ውስጥ እየተረጎሙት አስቸገሩኝ። በድብቅ ነበር የምኖረው። ትንሽ አንድ ስም አለው ለብቻው። ይሄ ጠንቋይ ምናምን የሚል መድኃኒት የሚያደርግ ሰው ወደዚያ ነው የሚወስዱባቸው። ስለዚህ እንደዚህ ከሆንኩ ወደ እናንተ ለመግለጽ ከመረርኩ ለተማሪዎች እገልጻለሁ። በእድሜም የተቃረብኩ ነኝ። እድሜን ትምህርት እውቀቱን ለተማሪ ማሰራጨት እፈልጋለሁ አልኳቸው።
ቦሶኒ ኩኒ ጋዲሰ ብያ ኡፈተ ብያት አራው ከነ ኢረት ይላሉ ሮጋዴ ከነ ኦዱኛትን ገበታ ኦዱንኛትን አስከቸውን ኦሌ ነመብደኛትን አትፈካታ ይጃላሌው ነገብሰ በጣም
Every morning starts with the blessing of the elders.
Mena wafalcha na wafalcha wagni nagano bulchi nagano awol dafi no awol.
The elders know every detail of the forest since their childhood. Now they are leading the youth through the forest. Along the way, the elders explain the cultural meaning of the forest and the flora and fauna and about the different landscapes and its natural heritage.
አሁን እዚህ ጋር የቡና ዛፍ ነው የሚመስለው ፍሬውም ቅጠሉም ስሙ ምንድነው ያሉት ቡኒቲ ነው በኦሮምኛ ቡነና ቡኒቲ መሳሰላል አይመሳሰላል
Step by step, the youth learns to identify the plants and learns about the medicinal values.
Biyya keenya bosonni ammana baay'een hin jiru malee ni jira. Nuyyuu dallaan keenyayyuu bosona jaleera jechaadha. Isaan cirree balleessina. Akkanumaan faayidaarras kan hin oolfanne sim jennee cirree balleessina. Amma garuu qoricha adda addaa akka ta'an yoo nutti himan baay'een gammade.
Together with the elders, the group performs educational games, which help them to adopt and understand how animals live in nature and transfer this into their own life. Through different games, all senses of the participants are stimulated, which are normally neglected by living in an urban environment. Meditation in solitary times is another technique used to create awareness of nature's importance, to look into oneself and develop good behaviors. Tracking is another component of the SSNC program. The participants sit together and reflect on the experiences of the day and their emotions during the solitary time in the forest. The SSNC approach gradually brings about remarkable results in shaping the behaviors and characters of the members of the group towards environmental protection, eventually leading them to be productive and good citizens.
Naanani waan kana galmaa waan kana gonkumaan beeku ture as dhufee garuu barumsa guddaan argadhee jira
ተፈጥሮስ ቁጭ ብዬ ተፈጥሮን እያየሁኝ ተፈጥሮን እያደነኩኝ ውስጤ ሰላም እያገኘ ለምን አልኩኝ እና ያሳለፍኩት ይወቅሰኝ ጀመር መጨረሻ እና ውስጤ መቀየርን ነገር እንደገና ስለ እንትኑም ስገባበት በፊት ያሳለፍኳቸው ሁለተኛ ይጠጣ ነው ይቃም ነው ምናምን ትዝ ይለኝ በቃ እንደማያስፈልግና ውስጤ ተቆጣኝ
At night, The group will gather around the campfire where the elders are telling traditional stories of moral value.
Harroon waaqni roobeedhaan akka baranaa kanaaf raasaa roobeeti harroonni quufee iyye jedhan inni iyye hoo iyyuu waaqni maa kanatti iyyitanii ennaani mee namicha si bira jiru tokko si bira ogaa jedhe sagaleen isaa nutti bareeda namichuma sagalee kanatti nutti bareedu kana mee gadi nu ergii wajjin taphannaa jetteen jedhan laakki yoo dhufe isiniin tolu.
The stories will then be discussed among the group.
Between 10 in the evening and 11, one boy will watch the whole camp. And he will be in the dark by himself. And the youths that come here have never been in the dark by themselves. So they will start defeating their fear.
Melca brings together elders from other areas of the country where they have implemented the SSNC program. The Bali Mountains and the Sheka Forest. Together they exchange ideas and experiences with the Suba Forest elders. The staff of Melca also spends 5 days in the forest to experience the powerful impact of the program. At the end of every SSNC program for the schools, as well as for the staff, there will be an evaluation process. The SSNC program is currently used as an extracurricular activity in schools.
ክበባት ከ20 በላይ የሚቆጠሩ ወይም ከ20 በላይ የሚሆኑ ክበባት አሉ እንደ ትምህርት ቤታችን። ከነዛ ክበባት ውስጥ አንደኛውና በጣም ጥሩ እንቅስቃሴ ያለው የሰኝ ክበብ ነው።
የሰኝ ክለብ አባላት እንቅስቃሴ ሆነ ጀመረው በቅርብ ጊዜ ነው። ሆኖም ከጊዜ ወደ ጊዜ እየጠነከረ ነው ሄደው።
The students and teachers who pass through the SSNC program will be responsible to work in cultural biodiversity activities. This involves collecting and documenting artifacts, stories, proverbs, and to cultivate varieties of crops and medicinal plants. It also involves presenting ecological dramas to school communities and planting trees in the schools.
በየጊዜው ወደ እነዚህ ወደ ፓርክ እየሄዱ አንዳንድ ልምዶችን አይተው የሚመጡ ተማሪዎች አሉ። አሁን ያ ቻንስ ለምሳሌ በጣም ትንሽ ተማሪ ነው የሚሄደው። ነገር ግን ቻንሱ ሰፋ ቢልና ብዙ ተማሪዎች እዛ ሄደው ያንን ተምረው ያንን አይተው ኔቸርን አይተው አድንቀው ቢመለሱ ሞሬ ነገር እየተስፋፋና ተማሪዎች ውስጥ እየገባ ስር እየሰደደ ይሄዳል።
This SSNC program is one of the extracurricular activities now. It is into the school system. It was not there before. So this is institutionalization. Meaning, if Melca moves out tomorrow, for various reasons, this will continue.
በአሁኑ ሰዓት ያው ጥበቃውም ድርጅቱም እንደገና ደግሞ እኛም ከድርጅቱ ጋር በመዋቀር የሀገር ሽማግሌ በማዋቀር አንዳንድ አጥፊ ሰዎችን በማውገስ በተለያየ ሁኔታ ከዛ ላይ እንዲታቀቡ በማድረግ ትንሽ የተወሰነ እንዲያገግምና እንዲድን የተደረገበት ሁኔታ አለ።
አዳፊ ሁመምኒ ወልቀበቴ ዴማን በሌሲናዬ አዳ ኬኛ እትቦኑ ቀምና አከሱማስ ሞ አዳ yomu እትቦን ሁመምኒስ ኑ ጅራታ ሄደን ደበርሱ ፊንቃ
In times of global warming and multitude of natural disasters, we all have to work together to preserve our forests and natural resources. Melca is continuing its work to protect the Suba forests and other forests in Ethiopia. It works closely with organizations all over the world, realizing this is a global problem and needs a global solution. Melca especially focuses on the new generation to work for the future.
Numbo